Hey, Sumabuki. Hi, Jeff. You're second today. I was eating food. You caught me. Hi, Anime. Hi, Rebstein. Hi, Cyber Goddess. Jeff, you're second. Sumabuki beat you to the first position today. Not live from Uranus. I know how to say that. Dot. Hi, Katie Rose. I was eating some chili peanuts, my afternoon treat. Hi, Annie B. So it's good morning. Yes, it's 3:30. We're back for another episode of Can You Beat? 3:30 in London, 10:30 a.m. on the East Coast. That makes it 7:30 a.m. on the West Coast. But it's none of those times where we're going to meet our guest. High knowledge is power. So can you guess what time it is in the morning where our guest is going to be? And let me go and see if I can find my guest for today. Yes, I can. So, Tim, if you are watching, you should now see me ringing you. Your screen should split in two. Hi, Bert, Otts. Hey, APH Studio. 9:30 for you. It might be very similar to where we're going. So let's see if we can find out in a second here. Here we are. How are you?
Woo! Good morning.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Good morning it is. And you got it working. Okay, so well done. That's a technical achievement you can tell your kids about.
Good night, everybody. Drive safe.
Am I right in thinking that it's 9:30 a.m. where you are, Tim?
It is exactly right.
Tim is joining us. So everyone who's watching around the world, I'm delighted to introduce who is Tim, and I'm pronouncing it right. I hope you told me. Edgar Bratton.
That's perfect.
Author, former chief of police. We're going to have an interesting conversation about your career and your new book. Tell us about, when I think of Minnesota, we'll start the quiz in a few seconds, Tim, just to get you into it. I think of a couple of things. I think cold in the winter, very cold in the winter. And am I right when I say, I guess everybody says this to you, a five-letter word beginning with F called Fargo? Is that a Minnesota thing?
Fargo is North Dakota, but it's only about an hour from me right now. So,
right, same part of the world. Good. And am I right in saying that you would be you'd be getting very bitter winters over there?
Horrible winters. This winter actually was really mild, unconditionally, but it was, yeah, typically it's very cold.
Yeah. And I guess, you know, you got like winter wheels for the cars, winter tires, all that kind of thing. And your job as like a police chief and a police officer prior to that, you know, it might involve pursuit and chasing people around in these wintry conditions. That must be pretty extreme. It's bad enough in dry conditions, but that must be fairly extreme.
Yeah, it is. We have all-wheel drive vehicles, a lot of them, front-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, or you know, just it's different driving, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you more about your previous career, and then we'll talk about the book as we get the show going. But just to get the show going properly, and a reminder for everybody that we're playing Can You Beat against Tim, off-duty chief, and that'll become clear. I'm going to ask a series of 10 questions. They're all going to have 3 multiple choices. And Tim, you probably may not have played before, but they're going to appear below you on your screen on the phone. I'll read them out, and you have to press the correct answer. The quicker you press, the more points you get. So don't say it out loud until I ask you, but all you're doing initially is to press it as quickly as possible, and then you'll get more. And you are playing against the crowd who's watching. So you might try and come in the top 30. That would be quite good. Top 20 would be really good. Very, very occasionally people come in the top 10 because I kind of write them around you and around what you like. And 2 times since I've done this show, which is like lots of times, 2 times in the history of show has a guest actually come first. So let's see how you get on. So you're ready to go? You can see it and you're ready to press?
I'm going to get this on my holder here. So there we go. All right. Okay. I am so ready.
Jeff Keys says in the chat, yes, there you go. Jeff Keys in chat says he feels doomed because you are going to have cop reflexes. So let's see. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Yeah. All right. Let me see. I need to have reflexes. Hopefully I can do it properly and not make an error. The first one should be a nice and easy one for you. So let's have a little look with question number 1. What is the state capital of Minnesota? Is it Duluth? Is it Minneapolis? Is it St. Paul? I'd be interested to see. This might be a tricky one for other people who are not from Minnesota, because if you came from England, you know these places, but you might not know this capital. So what is the state capital, Tim?
St. Paul, Minnesota.
It is St. Paul, Minnesota. It's not the biggest city, because Minneapolis is the biggest city, isn't it? So let's see how people did. I reckon majority will go for... Oh, no, people went for it. They got it. 17 people, majority of people got St. Paul. So very good. So tell us about Minnesota. I mean, like most counties here in England and most states, I've never been to Minnesota. I've been to Illinois, would be the nearest place I've been to. What's the characteristic of a Minnesotan? Do they have, like, if we give broad stereotypes, what are the characteristics, stereotypical characteristics of a Minnesotan, do you think?
There's a phrase called Minnesota nice that we're...
Oh, I see in the audience, they're already writing about it. So,
Minnesota nice, exactly. And I think that we're hardworking. You know, if we could stereotype Minnesotans, we're kind to each other. We're kind to other people, and it's beautiful here. We live in, it's a diverse, I saw, one of the options was Duluth, Minnesota as a state capital. That's on Lake Superior. So it's a huge freshwater lake. And so we have that, and we have flat farmland, and we have hills and lakes. And from my house, within 25 miles of my house, there are 412 lakes, freshwater lakes. It's beautiful.
Wow. And people have said Minnesota nice, and of course the other stereotypical thing that people are talking about. I don't notice it as much with you. Are you a native Minnesota? Minnesota? Yeah, people are saying, oh, the accent.
Oh, you betcha. Yeah, I can have the accent, if you, if you want me to get it, I'll get the accent going, okay.
So you've written a book called Find Your Beat, and it kind of, Find Your Beat, there it is, Walk in the Rhythm of Life. And it, to me, kind of encapsulates positivity. You're interested in music. Your next question is going to be about music. And finding your beat, there may be a little play on words there to do with your career as a police officer. So tell us a little bit about the book, why you wrote it, and what we might expect when we read the book.
Yeah, well, as most people would understand, law enforcement can be a pretty toxic, challenging career and dealing with a lot of negative. People don't call us to say that their child is doing well in school. And so it was always challenging, and the challenge is to keep your attitude positive. When you're constantly dealing with negative, it can be a toxic culture. So before I retired, I spoke down by Minneapolis and St. Paul to a larger police department. And the chief of police there asked me if I would share my leadership journey with his team. And so I did. And I brought my guitar down, and we laughed and cried and sang some songs. And we talked about wellness, mental health and physical health and our spiritual health. And so I started speaking professionally after I retired. And the next logical step was to go deeper into those stories. And I only have 60 minutes in my presentation. So I started writing down my stories, and it became this book. And so it's called Find Your Beat. And when you're actually our British friend Sir Robert Peel is the modern father of policing, and so you would walk a beat. And so I love music, and I love rhythm, and I think we all need to find our rhythm of life, whatever that is, whatever it looks like for us. And each one of us is going to have a different beat. And so when you find that beat, and when you're in rhythm and your life is in harmony, things are cooking. It's a great thing.
Great. Let's go on to our next question. I'm going to come back. I've made some notes on what you just said. Our next question is about music. We're going to go through the eras on music today. We're going to talk a little bit about some sport questions as well. And then we've got a couple of general knowledge trivia questions. Right. The next one is the music question. I think it's fairly straightforward. Let's see how we get on. Question 2. Pete Best was the original drummer with which band? The Rolling Stones, The Who, The Beatles. You're going to find that they're not all about it. Oh no, he feels upset. He feels upset. He's hitting his head. You pressed the wrong one.
I did. Well, what I thought was the right one, but no, now oh yeah.
What did you press?
I pressed the Who, but I know the answer is the Beatles.
It is the Beatles. Yeah, okay. And just so that you're aware, that's like an easy one. So although a lot of people said the Who. Interesting.
I panicked.
Majority of people said the Who. Stuart Sutcliffe was the other original member of the Beatles, but Pete Best is actually, I believe, still alive. And of course, they replaced him with Ringo Starr. So when you sang those songs the first time, you took a leap of faith, bringing that guitar in front of those people. You get the impression that these are probably hard-edged, hard-nosed cops, but you're going to know quite a few of them or know their mentality. What songs did you sing? Did you sing like songs they knew, or were they songs you made up?
Both. I make up songs on the fly a lot of times. But like when I'm talking about serious topics and like wellness, and I talk about the importance that we're not designed to do this gig of life by ourselves. And so I'll sing like Stand By Me or something like that. And
okay. Yeah. So we'll go into a music question now. This is a music question which also involves film. Okay, so it's about a film about a musician, and that's what we got to figure out, everybody. So which musician's life was chronicled in the film Walk the Line? Walk the Line. Was it about Johnny Cash? Was it about Ray Charles? Or was it about Neil Diamond? You're looking more confident here, Tim. You're nodding. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dart in chat says Walk Hard. Anime Dan says Through the Ring of Fire. Knowledge is Power. And Cyber Goddess says they finally got some points. Put us out of our misery. What was it?
Johnny Cash.
It was.
The Man in Black.
Man in Black. And that was Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon as his wife. And that was a good movie, Oscar-winning movie, I think from about 2005. Nearly everybody got that one. We'll do one more music question. Going back further in time, further in time in music, Cash, of course, straddled a number of years. This is again about an English, and this is about an English skiffle star. And I'll be interested to know if you guys over in the States know what skiffle, when I say that word, what you think that is. But let's have a little look. Which English skiffle star had a hit with Rock Island Line? Was it Lonnie Donegan, was it Val Doonigan, or was it Joe Brown? Interesting story behind this. Are you guessing or do you know, Tim?
Totally guessing.
Do you know the song?
No.
Rock Island Line is, look it up after this. It's a fairly standard classic from like the 40s or 50s. I think it emanated in the States. Anyway, what did you guess?
Joe Brown. That's just where my finger went.
Joe Brown, funny enough, he is a singer. He was best friends with George Harrison, nod back to our Beatles song. Val Doonigan was like an English Bing Crosby type. And Lonnie Donegan is the correct answer here, who was, in many ways... So when rock and roll music came to the UK, I was thinking about this earlier, and I guess when it emanated in the States in the 50s, we probably it was all American music. So it was, I mean, I guess you had the Little Richards, but you had primarily Elvis, you had Jerry Lee Lewis, and you had, he's gone out of my name, who sang Rock Around the Clock?
Bill Haley.
Sorry, Bill Haley. Yes, they were probably the three big originators for us in the UK. And then this guy, Lonnie Donegan, came along, and what he was playing was called skiffle music. And skiffle music was like, you'll like this because of, and you might have a different word for it. It was basically almost like homemade guitars. People would use like washboards or pieces of wood and put almost pieces of string. And these were called skiffle, and they'd be a kind of mixture of a guitar and a bass. And it was kind of primitive, but they could make some rock sounds out of it. And anyway, this guy, Lonnie Donegan, was the first guy to bring, he was English, and he was the first English star. You're talking back in the 50s. What kind of music do you like, Tim?
I love that 50s and 60s classic rock. I love country music. Love it all. Of course, the Beatles and the Animals and a lot of, when that British invasion happened, bring it on. Keep them coming.
Yeah. There was a cool time, actually. Yeah, good. Lots of great songs. Who and another band that I really love from the 60s, actually, and he went on to have phenomenal success in America in a different life, was do you know the Hollies? Absolutely amazing band, and Graham Nash at the center went on to be kind of Crosby, Stills and Nash. That was him. So he's still going, he's still touring, actually. When you talk about the dark side of police. And you told me about this the other day, and you told me about it now. I was thinking about it. I never really thought about that. You know, being a lay person and not involved in it at all. You watch your existence with it is watching kind of TV crime shows. And yes, it seems a bit, you know, dark at times, but they always get the man or the criminal, and there's like a resolution. But I guess you're absolutely right. You're dealing with people who are basically perennially in some sort of crisis in their lives, and like have, you know, not all bad people are bad people inherently. Some people are. People are forced to do desperate things. I never thought about it like that. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's just understanding human nature and what it is. But when you're in the thick of it, when you're actually working, it's really hard to pick and choose, and you just have to go with your gut, and you handle the situation the best you can at the moment. And but it's really hard. People say, well, when you get home, you wipe your feet off and you go into the door and you leave your work at work, and it's not that simple.
No, I don't imagine it is, especially when you're dealing with really critical and dark situations. I can imagine that having a toll. And of course, that's why it seems that your book is, you know, of the time to give us this idea about wellness and mental health. I'll come back to your inspiration for that in a couple of questions' time. We're going to move on now. We're going to change tack and go on to sport. Right. I believe you're a sports fan. You're going to get some tricky sports questions here. If you watch Larry David, they're going to be tricky sports questions, as he would say. Thanks, Rebstein, for that comment. I see that. Yeah. Okay. So now, first one's about golf, but the other ones are about more traditional American sports. First one is about golf. As you may be aware, there is a huge controversy. It's the eve of the Masters, right, which is the biggest tournament in golf, which starts tomorrow. As you are all probably aware, there is a huge controversy because the traditional PGA has been split up, and now there is another rival tournament called Live L-I-V Golf. A lot of the big stars, Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, have all gone over to this other rival tour. It's unprecedented. But the question is, in Live Golf, L-I-V, what does L-I-V stand for? Is it live? Is it Liverpool? Or is it the number 54? And somebody can have a bonus point for no actual points if they can tell me why this is the question. This is the answer. Do you know, Tim?
I just guessed number 54. It's a total guess.
Yeah, it is a total guess. Can you? There's also a correct guess. So well, can you think why? Some people in chat know. It's because in traditional PGA golf, they play 4 days of 18 holes, so they play 72 holes. In this Live Golf format, they play 3 days of 18 holes, so it's 54. So they're calling it LIV, Live Golf. What are your sports of choice if you're sitting down? A man like you must have a den. I'm sure you've got a den. Oh, you don't have a den?
I don't. All my life revolves around music and American football, of course. I have
got some American football coming up as my next question. But before we look at that, let's look at the leaderboards. Now, the leaderboards will pop up on screen and we will see where everybody is. So we got Annie B in first, doing well. Very good, Annie B. Funky Fraser in second. PJ doing well, all over 40. And I'm going to scroll down. I'm seeing a good start. This is 12th position. This is very good, very promising. Let's see if you can improve upon that in the second half. 5 to go. The next one is an American football one, but it's a historical American football one. I think it's tough. The one after that is about basketball. It's not so tough, but this one is a toughie. So let's have a little look at number 6.
Let's do this.
The Frankfurt Yellow Jackets were of which football team? Is it Eagles, Bears, or Cowboys? It was a kind of franchise that happened when pre-pro football as we know it now, but this is back in the 20s and 30s. The Frankfurt Yellow Jackets. Do you know or are you guessing?
I'm guessing.
What are you guessing?
I guess the Bears.
It was geographically, I think, probably geographically closest to you, but it's not the Bears. It was the Eagles.
Okay.
To commemorate, most people did get that, so well done. To commemorate that, the Eagles, like I can't remember, on the anniversary, the 100th anniversary, about 10 years ago, they played all in yellow because this team got their name by playing all in yellow. The next one is about basketball, and it's about one of the biggest basketball stars in the world, Steph Curry. It's actually about his dad. Okay, so Steph Curry's dad was also a player. He was the all-time points leader for which team? Was it Charlotte Hornets, Heat, Denver Nuggets? He's commentating at the moment, I think, Del Curry, his dad. Did you know that one, Tim?
I have no idea. I'm just shooting in the dark here.
What are you shooting for?
Denver Nuggets.
It was, of course, the Charlotte Hornets. I told you the second half was going to be harder. Okay, so I've written 2 books, and it's probably the hardest thing I've ever done professionally in my life, to actually do it. I'm full brim of ideas. I've got loads of ideas of how it's going to go, but the physical sitting down and doing it, you know, I just found it incredibly hard. I got there. How did you do it? Did you have help? Tell us about how you managed to do it, because I think people who watch are interested to know about how you physically did it.
Yeah. So I started like 7 years ago, just writing stories and sitting down typing, but they sounded like police reports. They were horrible and just didn't flow very well. And then I got some coaches through the years, but like the physical part of it, I have a home office here, and I can get a lot done here, but I've always come up with distractions, that self-induced distractions. So when I would just get out of the house and go to the public library, we travel quite a bit too, and when we travel, I'd go to whatever city I was in, their public library, and I can get more done in 2 hours at a public library than 2 days at home. So that was the biggest thing, getting away from all the distractions.
That's really true, isn't it? And it is the case that we find, like, if I'm on a plane, I seem to think more clearly or have certain way of thinking. But I agree that when you're out of the house, you don't have those distractions, and you can do more. Like, there's various techniques, like there's one called the Pomodoro technique, which is like focus for 20 minutes and then have a small break. You know, so much more done in that concentrated 20 minutes. Okay, we'll come on and ask you, as we're drawing towards the end, I want to ask you about some takeaways from your book in a second, but you mentioned travel, which is good. Have you traveled, like, when you say travel, is that like in state, in country, or do you travel all over the world? Where do you like, where have you, what traveling highlights for you?
I went in high school. I went to Spain, and that was what gave me the bug. And so I've been to Spain. I've been to Italy, and so in Canada, of course. But I want to get to the UK. Oh, it's on my list. And then and then within the states, I go everywhere. I've been to all 50 states, and I love hotels and taxis and airports and center seat in the airplane, and I don't know, I love traveling.
You're a center seat guy?
Well, yeah, if I'm there, I don't mind it at all. My wife has to be on the aisle. She like, oh, I'm going to be on the aisle, so I always give her the aisle seat. And then I don't want to be like, you know, have some schmuck between us, so I'm the schmuck in between the two of them.
Oh, like you, I have to concede to my wife, of course. But if I'm traveling independently, I too am an aisle guy. Good. Okay, so the next one's about European capital cities. Have a look at this.
God.
This is one of those which is not. So read it carefully, okay? Okay, here we go. Which of these is not a Nordic capital city? Oslo, Copenhagen, or Bucharest? Nordic refers to, as you all know, the Scandinavian area of the world. So I think there's like Finland, Sweden, and Denmark, and I think one more which I've forgotten. But what did you think? Which is not a Nordic capital city, Tim?
Bucharest.
Correct. It's the capital of, do you know?
No.
I think it's Romania. Budapest is Hungary. Bucharest is Romania. In fact, it is Romania because I've been to Bucharest. Very good. Most people got that right. So tell us some of the kind of, like, I'm interested in, you talked about how you can find your flow and find your mental wellness, but we talked interestingly the other day in our pre-chat about your inspiration, or what kind of thinkers or figures might have inspired you or you look up to and respect. Do you want to tell us about any of those?
Yeah, Viktor Frankl, it was probably one of the books, Man's Search for Meaning. That was one that really rocked me, and it basically, in a nutshell, if you're not familiar with it, Dr. Frankl was in a Nazi concentration camp, and he writes about his experiences there and basically how the Germans were trying so hard to break him, but he recognized that somebody from the outside can't break you, like, spiritually, and that has to come from you. And so that power that we control how we show up, we control how we act and react, is very powerful. And so that book was probably one of the first ones that really, it gave me a whole mind shift of, yeah, I mean, I don't have to, if it's cloudy, it's cloudy. There's nothing I can do about it being cloudy. And if somebody says something to me in the chat right down here, if they say your hair looks goofy, well, then my hair looks goofy, you know, and so but I can control how I show up, and I can control my attitude.
Yeah, I like that. And I would just reiterate that book is crucial. We're in an age now where, you know, self-help and mindfulness and mental well-being is a very important topic, but there are so many. We're drowning in podcasts and things, but I think going back to some original sources stuff here and like just talking about the reality of it, Buddha, I don't know if it's the real Buddha in chat here, it says great book. So yeah, people would only also agree with you. Right, 2 to go. You were in position 12. Let's see. So this week, we didn't see it over here. I think maybe some people in the southwest of England saw like a very small bit. Did you see anything?
The what now?
Did you see any of the eclipse?
No, it was cloudy. It was completely cloudy here. I missed all of it. Yeah, tell me about it.
So I had, but like it was in the path of it was over Minnesota, was it?
Yeah. Well, but part of it. Yeah, we should have seen a decent show, but it was completely cloudy that day.
Did you notice it feeling a bit darker?
It was like literally from what should have been sun up to what should have been sundown. It was, you know, dark and gloomy all day long.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It felt like how I think England is some days, just gray and.
Yeah, a bit like that today. My friends live in Vermont and had a very nice time looking at it. Rebstein in chat said they went to Vermont and said it was good. Cybergos said it was amazing in New York City. Granton guy said it was also amazing. Test 1, Test 2 said it was like someone turned off the lights. And PJ says it was cool in Maine. Well, the next one is about the sun, not about an eclipse, but it's about light from the sun. This is like, there's no trick questions here, okay? So this should be fairly standard, okay? How long does it take light from the sun to reach Earth? Is it 8 hours, 8 minutes, or 8 days? Did you press the wrong one, Tim?
I panicked.
You panicked? That's two panics.
I'm trying to get the points, you know. I'm riding that edge of I want to get the answer and I want to get it quickly and crud.
What did you press?
I put 8 hours, but I know it's longer than that.
It's not. It's shorter than that. It's much shorter. It just takes 8 minutes for light to reach. Yeah. So, well, most people got that one right. Yeah. Okay. Very good. So we're going to finish now with one last question. So just to remind everybody, they're going to go and look for Tim Eggerbratton. Is it written under that name or is it written under Off Duty Chief?
Nope, under my name. Yep. My website is offdutychief.com, but it's the book is written under Tim Eggerbratton. Find your beat, walk in the rhythm of life. Very proud of it. Very happy with how it turned out, and it's making a difference already. So that's exciting.
Very good, and we're very happy to have had you here. So everybody go and how people said you said that people can find you on offdutychief.com, and do you do any social accounts?
Oh yeah, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all of those.
Okay, very good, cool. Okay, last one is about history, about World War II. Not really a dark question, although we did mention Viktor Frankl, but it's semi-related, but not hugely related in that way. Let's have a question for a specific reason. Which World War II leader was often referred to as Uncle Joe? Was it Stalin, was it Churchill, or was it Roosevelt? What did you press?
Churchill.
Say that again?
Winston Churchill.
He was, yeah. It was weirdly... Well, it was Joseph Stalin. What I find weird about it was that Uncle Joe feels like a cuddly, nice guy. You know, I want to go and see Uncle Joe. Yet Stalin was like this ruthless dictator. We didn't call him Uncle Adolf, did we? We called him Uncle Joe. But Anyway, hey ho, you didn't get it right. Okay, here we go. We're going to end. That's the end of the show. Let's have a look at these last leaderboards for today. Our overall winner, if it's going to come up, here we go. Funky Fraser, well done. In first, Rebstein in second. Jeremy, nice to see you in third. Let's page down. You were 12th. You're not 12th anymore. You think
26.
Gone down. Hey, you're top 30. You can tell everyone that not only did you get the tech right, but you came 26th in this worldwide show. So listen, Tim, I hope you've enjoyed it.
That was awesome. Thank you. A lot of fun.
Thank you very much. And we like everyone. Let's just remember to take a look at what Tim says behind him on his wall. I am, I can, I will. It's all about positivity. We're all about positivity here. I'll see you next time on Can You Beat? Tim, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Thanks, everyone. Bye.